What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is my review for Growing Up Hip Hop Season 6, Episode 23. So, we start this episode off. We see Crete down in Miami talking to her daddy. Looks like they've been doing a good job working on their relationship. They still don't seem to know a whole lot about each other because she ain't know that her grandmama was Bohemian. But okay then, that's what it is. She, was telling him what happened and talked about what was going on with her getting into the fight with Sequoia. She said that, she just blacked out, but that the girl was, talking spicy. And Luke was like, well, damn, I see you a lot like me. You just be popping off. He said, but you really shouldn't be out here fighting. Like, that ain't cute. You know what I'm saying? Now, the other thing she said was that she hasn't talked to her daddy about her situation with her fertility because, they are just getting to a good space in their life and she don't really want to lay that on him. Okay, girl. Okay. Then, we see Bree, talking to Sequoia in the studio, and she's talking to her, and she was like, listen, what had happened down to the party? Like, all I know was that y'all was popping off and my art got messed up and I wasn't feeling it, and I ain't gonna lie, I was feeling some kind of way about you because I was looking at you sideways. And so Sequoia was like, listen, this is what happened. I ain't recapping it, shit. This is what happened. They was coming for me. They was, making a big deal. She said Savannah made a big deal. Now, listen, Sequoia, I'm kind of liking how you coming this year, but I was there last year. Now I'm gonna need WeTV to do the good Bravo edit where they play back last season and show us that you were a little spicy and you did seem like you had an issue with Angela. Because I remember saying in my review that's not a good look because Angela is not the one you want to come on the show and have an issue with. One, you're really not gonna get no smoke out of her, and two, she's an executive producer. You'll be gone. I'm just saying. So, but Bree was like, listen, after after she heard her story and heard what she was saying, she was like, okay, so, like, you seem like a really sweet person, like, because what she's saying now is that she doesn't have a problem with Angela. All she was saying was that she made the point to Savannah that the father of her child used to date Angela and it might be an awkward situation. She said, but it was never about me having smoke with Angela. It was never about me coming for her Angela. It wasn't even about the guy. Like, I'm over that. That happened 10 years ago. It is what it is. But so Bree was like, well, girl, listen, I hear you. I feel you coming from. I'm going to have drinks. She said, have you met TT? I'm going to have drinks. She's in town. And you know what? Vanessa's going to be there. And maybe you could talk to Vanessa because, Vanessa is usually down to earth and she's grounded. And, you could talk to her and maybe, for lack of a better word, please your case. And let her know you don't have no smoke for Angela. She did tell her that she had, apologized to JoJo. She said, I apologized to JoJo, and JoJo had accepted my apology, but they didn't know that because they was too busy on the other side of the cookout situation having an attitude and having an issue with me. Had they let me talk to them, had they been mature enough to have an open conversation, maybe we could have resolved it because I didn't come with no smoke. I came to apologize and to try to move on, but they wasn't really trying to hear it. Now Crete had also said to her daddy that she wanted to have a conversation with Sequoia child. Anyway, we'll get to that. So then we see Sam talking to Lil Easy, Eric, about his case. And basically, once again, he sort of reiterated what happened. Now, I'm thinking to myself, his case must already be adjudicated because he sure is saying a lot on camera. But he said that they're trying to give him like 10 years. They're trying to give him 4 counts, assault with a deadly weapon. Now, on camera, he admitted to taking out his weapon. He admitted that, it sounded like he pointed it, but his defense is that he was so far away that he couldn't have possibly have hurt anybody. Sir, what? Y'all were in Las Vegas. You might not have hurt the people you was trying to hurt, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't have hurt somebody. And you pulled out a gun. It seems to me though, like the only good thing is that it sounds like the gun wasn't illegal, because then they would be getting you on a whole nother set of charges if you had illegal weapon. But neither here nor there. It's just not a good look. And Eric is like, listen, the shit ain't cute. You know, he was like, I went to jail for 1 year, and the worst thing was that I was away from my kids. It wasn't cute. It wasn't funny. You know, I definitely learned that lesson, and I wasn't definitely not trying to do that again. He asked Sam about his kids and Egypt and all of that, and he said, you know, like, the worst thing is that you might be away from Egypt for this amount of time. Like, you know, that's serious. You know, that's serious. But you know, what irritates me is that I still feel like Sam doesn't get it. Like, one of my biggest, I always say one of my biggest pet peeves, but this is a pet peeve of mine, is when people always want to justify or explain or compare their situation to somebody else's. Listen, the legal system is not a fair system. That is just it all, and that is the end of it. What happens to you in Las Vegas may not be what happens to somebody in North Carolina. The laws are different. The statutes are different. The minimum, maximum sentencing is different. It is not a federal situation. This is a state situation. And so for you, I'm going to just go ahead and jump ahead. Later on in the episode, he's talking to TT and, I mean, he ain't talking to TT about shit. He's talking to Egypt and Pepper. And he's like, you know, telling them that he might get 10 years, because he said Egypt didn't even know. But he did end up telling her. And of course, you know, she was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And Pep was like, yo, this is crazy. She was like, see, this is what I kept trying to tell y'all. I kept trying to warn y'all about being out here acting stupid. Like, I you know, I kept trying to warn y'all about this. And it was so funny because she was like, listen, you know, I done already been there and done that, like visiting people in jail and all that. Like, that's not my ministry. Like, I ain't trying to do that again. The one thing I will give Sam credit for, and y'all know I don't give Sam credit for a whole lot, but the one thing I will give Sam credit for was, one, on camera, he said that Egypt ain't know nothing. He was like, Egypt had her back turned the whole time, and she ain't see nothing. And it's funny because Egypt already told on herself when she was talking to her father. She admitted that she was sort of in the melee a little bit. So Sam, I'm gonna give you credit for that, for trying to look out for Egypt and not putting her in the mess. And the second thing was, he told Pep, he said, promise me if I do get charged and I go to jail, promise me that you will not allow her to wait for me. Like, please make her live her life, make her go out and enjoy her life and do what she needs to do. Like, please don't do that. And I gotta give him credit for that, even though she said that she would wait for him even if he was gone for 10 years. Girl, I can't with you. Anyway, so Bree is having an essential oils night. She invited the ladies. She invited Vanessa. She had TT, and she invited Sequoia. So before Sequoia got there, she kind of prepped, you know, TT and Vanessa, and she let them know what she knew. She said, listen, I met with her. I talked to her. She seemed like good people. I didn't get the impression. She told me she didn't have no beef with Angela. She didn't feel no kind of way. I invited her. I want y'all to talk to her, right? So she brings Sequoia in, and Sequoia gets a chance to sort of plead her case to Vanessa. Vanessa was like, listen, I heard you had smoke with my sister. I heard you had smoke with Janice, JoJo's wife. And she's not even that person. So for you to get her out of her character like that, like, I don't know. Like, I feel some kind of way about that. And she said, you know, when I talked to her when we were in New York, she was still kind of upset about the situation. She still felt some kind of way about it. So Sequoia came through, and again, she played her case, and she told them, listen, I ain't had no beef with Angela. I apologize for, you know, I didn't know she was pregnant. It was definitely never my intention to upset her or to get her, you know, feeling some kind of way. You know, that was just never what my intention was. I never wanted, you know, I certainly wouldn't have got her upset knowing that she was pregnant. And of course, nobody knew the girl was pregnant because they weren't telling anybody, right? She said, as far as the Angela situation, she reiterated what her piece was. She said, if anything, Savannah's the one that's out here being messy, because I did not say I had no beef with Angela. Okay? I didn't. She did say that she apologized to JoJo and that she wants to apologize to JoJo's wife because she really was upset. She said in hindsight she did overreact. It was a compliment. She took it the wrong way, and she could admit that she was wrong and that she owes her an apology. And I could appreciate that because see, last week with her talking about I ain't apologizing, I ain't do nothing, you know, she was all rah rah. But I can appreciate that now she understands that okay, I might owe some people an apology, right? So, and this is what I'm gonna say to Miss Cree and Miss Summer. Y'all on the wrong side of this now because she has gotten Vanessa on her side and she got JoJo on her side, and once she apologizes to Janice, she's gonna have her on her side. And y'all know Angela don't give a damn. Angela's not gonna engage one way or the other. But if all of them are on the right side, you might, girl, y'all better get it together because y'all gonna be on the wrong side of this situation, okay? Then we have this whole crazy situation with TT and this. But listen, I feel like they're trying to turn TT into this bridezilla, and I don't know if TT is really being this big of a bridezilla or if this is really just who TT is. But it ain't a good look, TT. It really isn't. They were at the house and her invitations came, and he was like, "Oh, let me look at him," and she was like, "Well, you don't need to have any input other than thanks, babe. Thank you so much for listening to my input." For listening to me and making the changes that I wanted you to make or something crazy like that. And I'm thinking to myself, well, dang, that's rude. Like, it's his. I hate women who act like the husband shouldn't have any say so or the husband doesn't have any right to have an opinion. So then he pulls the invitations out and he's like, the card stock is kind of light, isn't it? And she's rolling her eyes and she gets an attitude with him talking about, you don't get to say anything. You don't have any input. Why the hell he don't have no input? It's his wedding that he clearly is paying a lot of money for. Hell, we saw how much you got his ass paying for that ring in last week's episode. If we're to believe that that's how much he paid for that ring, it don't matter. I was like, that irritates me. TT, that wasn't a good look. That's just not a good look. Then we find out that Tyrann is not vaccinated, and her wedding is basically only for people who are vaccinated. They have elderly people that are coming, and she already told Sean that his father had to be vaccinated, and like she said that her sister had to be vaccinated. Yet here y'all are on camera trying to bend over backwards, trying to find a way for Tyrann to get to Jamaica and still come to the wedding and not be vaccinated. And I'm with Sean on this one too. Sean is like, wait a minute, you told me that my father had to be vaccinated. Like, we are really sitting here trying to make this as safe of an event as possible, and you trying to bend the rules for Tyrann. No, if his ass don't want to be vaccinated, I'm sorry, bruh. You can watch the videos, watch it on Instagram. We'll send you, the link or something like everybody else, but you can't be there. Period. Point blank. And then when TT was trying to find some sort of a medium and happy ground, he was talking about that was bullshit. She was like, well, you can fly in 4 days early and you can go into quarantine. He was like, so what you're saying is that I can fly on the plane over there with people that are supposed to be safe. She was like, no, only for the people who actually got vaccinated. Listen, I'm so sick of people acting like being vaccinated means that you won't get sick. No, being vaccinated means that your likelihood of dying significantly decreases. Doesn't mean you won't get sick. We see that. A whole lot of people are getting sick. But you know what's not happening to those people? They ain't dying. But let's be clear, the hospitals are still very full of people who are dying. I'm sick of it. Tyrann, normally I'm with you, bruh. Normally I don't have no beef with you, bruh. Normally me and you agree. But on this one, I think not only do I not agree, I think it's stupid and I think it's selfish. And TT, I also think it's selfish that you were sitting here trying to figure out a way that you can work your way around your own fucking rules for him. Boy, bye. Girl, bye. Anyway. So then we see Savannah and Crete sit down to talk. Now, let me tell you what irritated me about this whole conversation. Crete talking about something. People really need to watch what they say out their mouth because you never know, and you might say the wrong thing and it just and get slick out your mouth. Girl, listen. she gonna tell Sequoia was like, well, my issue was when Savannah said something about my child and brought my child into it. That's what made me really flip out. She was like, well, let's be clear. You made your child part of your storyline from last year. No, she didn't. She made Angela part of her storyline, if you want to be honest. She just had a child with somebody that Angela dated. She was actually trying to make Angela her storyline, not the child. But for you to say that because you have infertility issues that she need to watch her mouth, when really you inserted yourself in a situation that didn't have nothing to do with you the first or the second time. Because the first time was when you inserted yourself in the beef she had going on with Angela and JoJo's wife down to the Twitter. That's the first one. The second one was on last week's episode when her and Savannah was arguing and you inserted yourself in that situation. Neither time had anything to do with you, Cree, and neither time was she speaking about you or your infertility, okay? Don't nobody know about your infertility issues, and that is no excuse for you to jump across tables at people whenever they say something about you having a child. If it make you black out that much, you need to go sit on the couch. I'm just saying. But what really pissed me off was when you tried to turn this into a colorism issue. I'm so sick of everybody making everything about colorism and turning everything into a buzzword. First of all, Sequoia ain't that much lighter than you. So for you to say, she said, well, what really bothered me was when you said they hate me because I'm pretty. She is pretty. And y'all were hating. But you know what, Creed? You're pretty too. So being pretty is not equal to light skin. And again, I can't tell you your experience. I can't tell you what you've been through in your life because I don't know. But what we not going to do is turn this beef that you had with her into colorism, because you jumped across tables because she said something about you having a child. And by your own admission, that's what you said when you talked to your daddy. That's even what you said at the beginning of this conversation. So for you to try to turn this whole thing into, oh, well, she said that she was pretty and that's what bothered me. Girl, sit down. I'm sick of it. So what's Savannah's excuse? Because her and Savannah the same damn complexion. So what's Savannah's excuse for being mad? Child, I'm sick of it. I can't. Every reality show is not going to turn colorism into a storyline. Thank you, Basketball Wives. Because when nobody talking about colorism on every damn reality show until Basketball Wives had their whole issue with OG. Thank you, Basketball Wives, because now everybody want everything to be colorism. Everything ain't fucking colorism. I'm sorry, it's not. Anyway, y'all, that's the episode. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.